bullet into the rear door, 5 bullets into the front passenger door, several through the front passenger window, and 1 into the windshield.
I was dealing with the sergeant, and I was told it was a .40 caliber Glock.
We're going to continue this investigation. Hopefully, we'll come up with something that makes some sense of this unfortunate incident.
The cops were there all night long. There was one witness, Yafafullah, said that he could identify the shooter.
Yafafullah was an old friend of Tupac's, and he was riding in the car directly behind the one Tupac and Shakur were in. So he was closer than anyone other than Shakur.
Yafafullah, who was in the front seat with me, was staring out of the window. So he saw the Cadillac before it even approached the car.
And he told the police right off, I saw who did it. And it's stunning to think that, okay, he said that, and they didn't say, yeah, who is it? But they didn't. They said, okay, we want you to come in and make a statement. And, you know, at some point in the future, they didn't even set a time.
Detained on the street by police, Tupac's entourage are anxious to know their friend's condition.
They had us sitting out on the Vegas Strip for about 2 hours, and they just let us go. Everybody went to the hospital. So it was definitely worse than any of us could imagine. They had breathing machines on him. He was bandaged and everything.
In an attempt to stop the internal bleeding, doctors decide to take the damaged lung out. They make an incision in Tupac's chest. Then part of his rib cage is removed, allowing surgeons access to the area. The lung is collapsed and blood vessels tied off. Then it is clamped, cut, and removed through the incision. But the internal bleeding persists, and doctors simply can't find the source.
Rap artist Tupac Shakur is reported in critical condition this morning in a Las Vegas hospital. He was shot while riding along the Strip in Las Vegas.
It's 9 a.m. in Las Vegas. America is waking up to discover that Tupac Shakur has been shot. Police chase down leads after working all night at the crime scenes to collect evidence. Tupac has spent the night in the hospital undergoing multiple surgeries.
What are Tupac's wounds, as far as you know? His wounds are he's suffering from multiple gunshot wounds to the chest and also has a wound to his thigh. He's undergone 2 series of surgeries. He's had a right lung removed. He's back in his room, and again, he remains in critical condition.
Those bullets did a significant amount of damage to his body internally.
The first bullet hit his right pinky finger and went through his hand. The second bullet hit his thigh bone, ricocheted into his abdomen, and ended up floating in his pelvis. The final bullet entered his chest underneath his arm and became lodged in his lung.
The Las Vegas police had a very difficult time getting Suge Knight to agree to an interview. It took days. I mean, they should have held him that evening, but he had promised to come back. He stalled. Finally came in 3 days later with 3 attorneys. If anybody would have seen the shooter, I mean, Suge would have had the best view. Suge somehow didn't see the shooter. He just dummied up totally. He didn't know anything about anything, and he wasn't giving him anything.
If you knew who killed Tupac, would you tell the police?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Because it's not my job. I don't get paid to solve homicides. I don't get paid to tell people.
If the authorities wanted to question me and talk to me, I would never talk to the police. If it's anybody who wouldn't say anything, who know how to keep their mouth shut and don't believe in the snitches and the rats, it'll be Suge Knight.
We would like anybody who might have seen something other than the people who were there to come forward and enlighten us. They're telling us they didn't see anything, they don't know anything.
It's been 4 days since the shooting. With no other leads, police revisit the brawl at the MGM and try to identify the beating victim, known only as Orlando. Suspecting the fight could be related to Suge's gang ties on his home turf of Compton, California, Las Vegas police contact authorities in Compton.
The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department reached out to Compton Police and said, hey, we could use help. We want you to ID this guy.
My partner, Tim Brannon, was asked by Las Vegas PD to go there and help identify the subjects involved in the beatdown. Then they showed him the tape, and he immediately recognized Orlando Anderson as the guy that was beat down during the incident. This guy was from Compton, a Southside Crip. At the time, we were investigating him on another murder where he shot the guy in the head.
Word began to reach the police that Orlando Anderson and his little crew of guys had been involved in the shooting.
Orlando Anderson. He's a ruthless killer, and that's the type of guy that they were dealing with out there in Vegas, but I don't think they had any idea of that at the time.
It was the 6th day. Had lost a lot of blood. They couldn't stop the bleeding internally from that chest injury. They had done 2 surgeries to go in and try to stop the bleeding, and then it would start up again. And that second surgery, they couldn't stop it completely.
I was sitting outside the room. This is his mother, Afeni. She sat there, and there was just like an uncomfortable silence, and then she put her hand on my knee. She put her hand on my knee, and she patted it and said, "It's going to be okay, Frank. It's going to be okay." And that's all she said to me. And I started crying. That was it. And then he died, September the 13th.
At 4:03 this afternoon, Tupac Shakur was pronounced dead.
I was definitely crushed, and my whole world was lost.
It was a major loss. You know, it wasn't just a friend, it was my little brother.
Weeks have passed since Tupac Shakur succumbed to his wounds. Las Vegas police are finally zeroing in on their prime suspect, Orlando Anderson, with an assist from the Compton PD.
So my partner Tim Brannon came back, and we decided in a 2-week period to put together this massive gang search warrant. And we did this so we could help Las Vegas with their investigation.
So Las Vegas police went down to Compton. One of the detectives on the case actually talked to Orlando Anderson.
Orlando Anderson, he wouldn't say anything about Tupac's murder. I don't know anything about that.
No, I was not involved. I mean, I'm like a victim. You know what I'm saying? I feel, you know what I'm saying, sorry for him.
Vegas let Orlando go and said there wasn't enough evidence to arrest him. Basically, Compton police felt a little bit frustrated.
They were convinced that there was enough to charge and convict Orlando Anderson of the murder, but they could never get the Las Vegas police to file.
Other leads also run dry. After speaking with officers on the scene, the police's main witness, Yafu Fula, had said he would give a full statement to detectives. But promises to meet with the police are never kept. And 2 months later, Fula is shot in the back of the head.
Yafu Fula's murder is the most troubling because it happened so quickly, and he was the best witness.
Without having any witnesses or anyone being able to identify the suspect, it's essentially impossible to solve this thing.
For 2 years, Las Vegas police struggled to crack the Tupac case. Then, another setback. Their only legitimate suspect, Orlando Anderson, is murdered in an LA shooting, leaving them with virtually nothing. As for other theories, from the beginning, rumors have circulated that Tupac's rap rival Biggie Smalls ordered the hit, or that Suge Knight may have been behind it.
There are a lot of conspiracy theories, one of which is that Suge Knight ordered the hit because reportedly Tupac was going to leave Death Row Records.
I don't know if I buy into that. I think it would be pretty brazen and risky to be in the same vehicle with the target of the hit.
If somebody said that I had something to do with it, I didn't take it as a point where it bothered me. I took it as a point where that got to be the most stupidest mother in the whole wide world.
Ultimately, Las Vegas police dismissed the theory that Suge had Tupac murdered. Some question the department's desire to solve the case at all.
I was told by LAP detectives that when they went over to Las Vegas to talk to them, that the Las Vegas cops told them privately, look, we've been told that they don't want us to solve this crime.
I was told by our higher up at Metro that it would be bad publicity having all these hip-hop people coming in for a trial. I think it goes beyond it's bad for tourism. I don't know. Somebody didn't want to solve it and it didn't get solved.
Well over a decade later, the Tupac murder remains unsolved. And without fingerprints, eyewitness testimony, or the murder weapon, there's little hope police will ever officially solve it. When asked for the official comment on the case, Las Vegas police will only say, quote, it remains an open investigation.
He had something to say. He had a message to deliver, and he was going to get that message to the world one way or another, you know, through life or death.
There's a lot of details, a lot of truth to be told, and questions to be answered. recalling that night. I think at the end of the day, everybody needs some type of positive closure.
Was through the roof. Nobody is better than me.
He's